You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Let's come together and worship.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I'm Brenda Berry, and the worship associate for today's service. We wish to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Shawnee, the Manahoic, the Massaomek, and the Monacan tribes who lived in this area prior to the arrival of European settlers, who then took the land for their own. We come together each Sunday morning as a community of seekers, seekers of what is important in our lives, seekers of understanding in the face of uncertainty and loss, seekers of forgiveness for our shortcomings, seekers of gratitude for the unexpected gifts we received from all around us. We gather in awe in the beauty of nature and the mysteries of the universe. But most importantly, we come together as seekers of a community of love and empowerment, celebrating our search for truth and meaning in our daily lives. And now I would like to invite Laura Baker to please come forward and light our chalice. And let us all say together, here and online, the words for our chalice lighting. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And I invite you now to join with us as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends we covenant one with another. And now we will sing our opening hymn, 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. And this should be a familiar tune for many of us, I hope. So the story I have to share with you is called Speak, Pachamama, Speak by Rebecca Myers. I am the earth. I am Pachamama. I am alive. I am both ancient and ever young. I am as old as the mountains and as young as the sprouting seeds. Everything is alive with energy, not only people and animals, but plants and stones too. You see Pachamama here? Yeah. Isn't she beautiful? Exactly. Pachamama is the earth. And like a good mother, Pachamama gives you everything you need to live. Water, food, clothing, shelter, and plants that make air to breathe. She takes good care of us, doesn't she? Yeah. And she says, I give you beauty everywhere. Look, you can see me close up in a flower, a fluffy dandelion, or a field of fireflies. Do you all think fireflies are beautiful? Yeah. You don't? No? Oh, no, they're not beautiful when they're dead in your room. But look again. You can see me far away in a sunset, a soaring hawk, or the stars. What beauty did you see today? Listen, you can hear me whenever a bird sings, a best friend laughs, or big trees whisper in the wind. What beauty did you hear today? Touch. You can feel me wherever you skip a stone, splash in the ocean, or swish angels in the snow. What beauty did you feel today? We're not really making any snow angels these days, are we? Maybe in winter. Smell. You can smell Pachamama whenever you dig in your garden, dance in the rain, or decorate your hair with flowers. What beauty did you smell today? Taste. You can taste Pachamama whenever you chug water, chomp into an apple, or chew your dinner. What beauty did you taste today? Did you all taste anything beautiful today? Coffee, yeah. I think chocolate cake or a donut tastes pretty beautiful with that coffee too. I am the earth. I am Pachamama. I am alive. Bring my beauty inside you where you can feel it. Breathe beauty deep into your heart. Beauty can feel like gratitude when you're thankful for something. Beauty can feel like kindness. Beauty can feel like love. Can you feel the beauty inside you? Yeah. When you feel happy, play outside. Did a squirrel watch you? A bird talk to you? Did a tree wave hello? What else beautiful did you see? And when you feel sad, hold a stone or sit against a tree or walk barefoot in the grass. I can help you turn your tears into flowers in your heart. Put your hand on your heart. Do you feel it beating? Feel it? Yeah. And lie down on the earth and feel all of our hearts beating together all around the world. People drum to the sound of our hearts. Play with me. I love your songs, your dances, and your blessings. Thank you for remembering I am alive. What are you thankful for today? Anybody? What are you thankful for today? Being here, yes. And I'm thankful that you're being here too. Take care of me. I love when people think of gentle, kind ways to help me. Please take care of me as I take care of you. How would you like to help me? Maybe helping with clean air and water, partnering with nature, building renewable energy. Be an earth keeper. Plant trees. I am the earth. I am Pachamama. I am alive. The end. So now shall we sing our children out? Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere. Beauty is before me, and beauty behind me. Above me and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by it. I am immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in old age, I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. In beauty, it is begun. In beauty, it is ended.
Thank you, Honey Bunny. That would be Honey Bunny. So thank you all for having me here. My name's John Berry. A lot of you know me from years ago or from now or from, who knows, past lives, who can really say. And I have a question that I've been dying to ask this congregation in particular. And depending on how you answer it, it may very well determine whether or not I go on or we just all pack it up and go home early and I'll just never mention it again. Is everyone here able to name something that they think is beautiful? Please raise your hands. Okay. Is anyone here unable to name something that they think is beautiful? Okay, good. Whew. All right, good. Got that part out of the way. We can go on. Excellent. So I had this wild idea a few years ago to ask that very question in 100 different cities and in 50 different countries all around the world. Now, I want to explain how I intended to accomplish that, not really having any money. But I have this schoolroom globe at home with this orange thread taped in a spiral all the way around the globe from Winchester, Virginia to Perth, Australia. And what I wanted to demonstrate is this. If every single person in this room is able to name something that they think is beautiful, then doesn't it stand to reason that everyone, and I mean every single human being on the planet, could name something beautiful too? So how weird, in light of all of our differences and divisions, how weird is it to think that besides our need for food, water, and air, that our most common ground as human, the one thing we so universally share is our relationship with beauty. And by the way, I'm spelling beauty with a capital B, not the small b beauty of fame and glamour and things like that. You being a UU congregation, I get the sense you probably understand that already. So think of it. No matter who you are, or where you live, or what language you speak, no matter the color of your skin, your politics or religion, no matter who you love, your level of education, whether you're rich or poor, no matter your age, ability, faith or non-faith, no matter how generous, scrupulous, deplorable, or treacherous, all humans know beauty when they experience it. Now, before I continue, I want to make it clear that this has nothing to do with what is beautiful. What is beautiful is whatever you say it is. Even if, God help us, if you think toilets made out of gold are beautiful, well, I'm sorry, it's not really my cup of tea, but who am I to judge? The question I've been asking myself for the past several years is not what beauty is, but who. So, let's start before you were born. Before you were born. When you were in your mother's womb, do you suppose the sound of your mother's heartbeat was beautiful to you? Can you even think of a time in your life when you would have been unable to recognize beauty? How about love or God? Did you have to learn what's beautiful? Now, I grew up in these Blue Ridge Mountains, and at no point in my childhood did anyone have to teach me that they are wondrous and beautiful mountains. I just knew. No one ever had to teach you what a beautiful day looks like to you, or what a particular color is your favorite. You just know. And I believe it's because, just like breathing, I believe beauty is absolutely essential to human life on this planet. Not abstractly, not metaphorically, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually essential for humans to exist on this or any other planet. And I think it's essential for other creatures too, but I think that humans are the only ones who forget that. Now, the Irish philosopher, poet, and theologian John O'Donohue had this to say. He says, we live in very uncertain times. Politics cannot help us because it has become synonymous with economics. Religion has gotten into the mathematics of morality, and economics, as the presiding world ideology, has become radically uncertain. I believe that now is the time to invoke and awaken beauty because, in a sense, there is nowhere else left to go. And because the situation in which we are in has actually been caused substantially by our denial of beauty. Now, if you're familiar with John O'Donohue at all, and I imagine a lot of you are, you know why I'm quoting him. His work and his words and his profound thinking on beauty have been a tremendous influence on my thinking about beauty. And now, speaking of philosophers, a long time ago, Plato and some of his other Greek philosopher buddies began thinking about what they called transcendentals, which comes from the Latin transcendere, which means to exceed. And transcendentals are properties of being, commonly known today as truth, unity, beauty, and goodness. In Plato's day, truth and beauty were set alongside justice, forming the base of this triangle. I'm sure you all have seen the representation. And over this triad of justice and beauty, of truth, justice, and beauty, Plato set goodness, or God, above all. Excuse me, but I think Plato got it wrong. Or more likely, I think that Plato let his male ego get in the way once again. I think that the ancient and not so ancient philosophers kind of lump beauty in with truth and justice because, and here we go again, being almost exclusively wealthy, entitled men, they simply would not accept or acknowledge the omni-democratic implications of the divinity of beauty. Put goodness, God, and a masculine God to boot, over all, and in effect, you have put the divine and unmistakable femininity of beauty in its place. Elevate beauty, and the whole male-dominated power structure breaks down. Sorry, guys, but how many men can you think of who are terribly uncomfortable with true beauty? Put goodness on top of this neat little pyramid, and you have effectively told your slaves and wives and the masses to be good. And naturally, anyone in power, like churches and politicians, like that. Tell the masses to be beautiful, and well, might lead to some trouble, some, rather unprofitable things like, peace. Try to imagine for a minute what it might have looked like if you had been told by your church or your schools to go out and be beautiful in the world instead of telling you, even threatening you with an eternity of torment in hell, that you have to be good. Mary Oliver knew, right? You do not have to be good. It is astounding and heartbreaking to think what a different world this might be if Plato had had the courage to put beauty at the top of his triad, where, and yes, I'm going to say it, she belongs. At the very least, I suspect there might be just enough money for art and music in high schools instead of sports. Maybe there's still time to change that. Here's an oldie but a goodie. Truth, justice, and the American way. Boy, we saw that recently, didn't we? What's the message? That Superman has no interest in beauty? That beauty doesn't matter? This is precisely what John O'Donohue meant about our denial of beauty. And he also had this to say about truth and beauty. If you take beauty away from truth, truth becomes dull, a heartless and blind imperative which can reduce and really damage people. Now, I'll add, the justice without beauty becomes merely bureaucratic. And as for goodness, goodness loses all its meaning. God, in effect, has no business being God without beauty. Here's a great question for a UU congregation. Raise your hands if you would say you've had a complicated relationship with God. Yeah, there's a few of you out there. Me too. But not once have I ever experienced a complicated moment with beauty. Have you? Has anyone ever had a complicated beauty? Complex, yes. Full of wonderful complexity, but never complicated. Justice? Yeah, that can be a little complicated. No more than right now, today. Truth? Please. These days. but not beauty. No one's out there questioning beauty. Too few taking beauty seriously either. And it's probably because I think they fail to recognize her power. And that spiraling little trip around the world we're going to take asking beautiful questions. Thank you, David White. Lots of people out there without truth, and lots without justice. And many, many without knowledge of, or apparently the need for God to be able to live happy, well-adjusted lives. Probably a few of those people in this room. The one thing they have, the one thing we all have, beauty. All of us. And many times the ones living in the worst, most unbeautiful circumstances are the ones with the most beauty in their hearts and their ears and their eyes, because they need it most. And beauty saves them day after day. That's the miracle of beauty. Beauty may only exist for a person in memory or in the imagination, but exist, and powerfully so, beauty will. Now let's talk about love for a minute. We actually do talk a lot about love, and rightfully so, because love is sort of one of those short supply, high demand kind of essentials that we need so badly. And we talk about God's love and how love is this all-powerful force for good that is ultimately the one thing that will save us. And like truth, justice, and goodness, love is also complicated, and it needs constant support and care. Live with someone for a few years, and it's a wonder some days that love functions at all. That's not really true. I didn't mean that. But beauty can and does function every day with or without love or God. Think of that. You know what I think? I think beauty makes love possible. I think beauty is the spiritual, physical, emotional, and trans-dimensional embodiment of love. You know what gives me hope? This is going to surprise you. Science. And in particular, scientists like Robin Wall Kimmerer. I'm sure many of you are familiar with her. Now, when Robin applied to forestry school, the dean of admissions asked her, I'm sure many of you heard this story, and it's wonderful, and I love repeating it again. When Robin applied to forestry school, the dean of admissions asked her why she wanted to study botany. Now, she told him she wanted to learn why asters and goldenrod look so beautiful together. You think that might have taken a little courage to say that? And as you might expect, the white man sitting across from young Robin of the citizen of Potawatomi Nation informed her that beauty had nothing to do with science, and that if that was her interest, perhaps she should go to art school instead. She did not go to art school. What she did is to go on to prove why the blue asters and golden yellow goldenrod look so beautiful together, and why their beauty is so fundamentally essential for their very survival. They evolved their relationship with beauty to survive. And she did it with poetry, prose, and precise, beautiful science. That's what gives me hope. The language of science, however rigid it may be, is getting more beautiful every day. Science is beginning to stop saying no to aspiring young botanists who ask beautiful questions, or to researchers investigating things like the telepathic abilities of nonverbal autistic children. And just look at the marvelous images coming back from the James Webb Telescope. If it is the job of science to show what is real in the universe, then it's beauty, because those images are absolutely off the charts with it. And not one scientist would disagree with that. Just think about it. In all this vast universe, everywhere we look is beauty. When is one single solitary image from space or the unspoiled natural wonders of this planet, how could you ever describe any of that as ugly? It just doesn't happen. Why? Why is everything so beautiful? It's a good sort of Wordsworthian question to ask. Science has never been more like poetry. And maybe that's what scares people about it. You just scratch the surface a little of quantum physics and you find a very strange, very fuzzy line between the visible and invisible realms where all of our familiar paradigms fail, like religion. I find it really curious that the best that could be said about the creation of light in the book of Genesis in the Christian Bible is that it was good. Okay. Wouldn't God be the very first to point out not just the goodness of light, but also its staggering, unbelievable beauty? You think that might have been a little beautiful? Even the fabled tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden is given no intrinsic beauty of its own. Arguably, the most recognizable tree in all of recorded mythology, and it's barely described in any sort of meaningful detail, other than apparently there was a snake hanging around on it. What is generously and almost exclusively given beauty in the Bible are humans and human institutions. Big surprise. This does not make me want to read the Bible. How does the beauty of mountains and rivers and forests and trees and wonderful creatures and stars go unmentioned by God? Especially when we ourselves are drawn so irresistibly to them. When has God, in any sense, been as directly available as beauty? And why not? To preserve the mystery? There are mysteries enough in the beauty of a dandelion that far surpasses the closed lips of invisible gods. And yet, for all of that power, subtlety, and omnidemocratic omniscience of beauty, beauty demands nothing of us except that we pay attention. That's it. No rules, no dogma, no creed, no 10 commandments of beauty. Beauty is not telling you to be good. Beauty only asks you to pay attention, to listen, to feel, to smell, to taste, and to beautify the world with your eye. Beauty also isn't saying you have to be woke, but you do at least need to be awake. That's it. And the only thing it takes is simply to live. The universe went to great pains to ensure that you and everyone you know is known to beauty. That, in and of itself, is a profound achievement, and it's not to be taken for granted. Now, if our ability, though, to experience and be in relationship with beauty is just some sort of obscenely generous door prize for being human, why would the universe bother unless it was important to our very survival? The only other things we so universally share are things like breathing air and drinking water, eating food. Can you even imagine existing without beauty in your life? I can't. I simply cannot. And what's the reward for living and paying attention to beauty? More beauty. And that is all. And that is enough. That's enough. Right? Beauty doesn't promise salvation, and that's exactly why she saves us over and over and over and over again. For a nation and a planet and the situation we're in, I want to know I can do something to make a difference. Do we all sort of feel like that right now? Feel a little powerless? Yeah. What I try to do, as best I can, when I go out into the world, I don't tell myself to be good. I tell myself to be beautiful. Now, if it sounds like a lot of Pollyanna nonsense, well, all I can say is it's not about my relationship with beauty. It's about yours. You have stood watching a sunrise that brought you to tears. You've held babies that melted your heart when they laughed. You've read and heard and lived things that light up your memory like a fire. Beauty is everywhere you look, especially if you beautify your gaze. Beauty is the most real thing you know. Now, the last chapter in John O'Donohue's book, Beauty, the Invisible Embrace, is titled God is Beauty. And I want to point something out. I want you to notice something. John O'Donohue says, God is beauty. And it's the one thing that I disagree with him about because of the way he says this. If I say God is beauty, well, it means about the same as saying things like God is love or God is a great many things because, well, God is God. And I think that the 19 years that John O'Donohue spent as a Catholic priest kind of held him back from saying what I think he really meant, what I would have loved to have had the opportunity if he had lived. I would love to have tried to convince him of this. I think that saying God is beauty reduces beauty and God to just another overused metaphor for describing God. Saying beauty is God means exactly what it says. Beauty is God. Saying beauty is God affirms the life force and divinity of both beauty and God. Now, is it so strange to breathe life into beauty? Beauty certainly breathes life into us. Is it so strange to give that feeling you have looking at a beautiful tree or a river a face? The 12th century theologian and mystic Meister Eckhart once said, "The eye with which I see God is God's eye seeing me." Think about that the next time you look up at the stars. So maybe beauty and God are not the same. Maybe I'm just a small poet with some very big ideas. Either way, what I've come to understand and embrace is that everything I always wanted God to be in my life, beauty already is. That's my message of hope. Thank you.
Good morning. This month for Share the Plate, the Henry and Williams Evans Home for Children is our nominee. This home was established in 1949 as a result of a trust for abused and needy children from Miss Molly Evans Janey, who lived in Winchester from the mid-1800s to till 1920s. The present home was constructed and opened in 1949. And for those of you geography people like me, it's located just off of Cork Street between the Edge Hill Recovery Center and Parkway Street. More than 500 children have called this place home, and they've provided a loving, nurturing home for children who are just homeless or in crisis. It is a charitable 501c3 organization, of course, and they don't spend money on marketing or fundraising. This is really amazing. Trustpilot would have them off the charts at a 92.5% all contributions go directly to the children, so their admin costs are incredibly low. Just if you were curious more about financial donations to them, $250 a year provides for the cleanliness of one child, $50 a month for milk for all the kids in the whole home. Please see the website for more information. It's in your announcements. When we do the offering today, half of the donations, of course, as we do every month, will go to the Evans home, and half will go to the church. So please give generously. Thank you.
One purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and in action. We will now gratefully receive an offering to sustain this self-supporting church and its ministries within and beyond our walls. If you're watching online, we hope you will consider making an offering through our webpage, uushenandoah.org. If you are visiting, feel free to let the basket pass. Your presence is our gift. Well, your gift to us. Today's offering will now be received. And now, as Laura comes forward, let us all say together the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
May an angel's paws rest gently on your shoulders. May light in her purest form beautify your gaze. May darkness remind you there is companionship in the unseen and nothing to fear, and silence that there is less to say and more to hear. May gravity always nudge you home on a raft of belonging to the family of water. And may you know God has the comfort of friends and can be a friend. And may beauty, sweet beauty, surround you and your loved ones beginning to end. Now go out and be beautiful in the world. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.